Hey everybody, what is going on? It is Rick. I am here with a review video. So a few things before we dive into the review videos. I'm recording this on June 26th, 2021. So first thing and the most important thing, I want to wish my girlfriend Bridget a happy anniversary. As of the recording of this, we started dating 4 years ago today. And to have her as a part of my life is amazing. I'm not going to get sappy or get into it further, but I just wanted to wish my girlfriend a happy anniversary first and foremost. The other thing I want to mention before we dive right in is the day this video drops, which should be, if I'm not mistaken, the 6th of July. This movie right here, Movie Hoarders from VHS to DVD and Beyond, will be available at Amazon, Best Buy. It's available now, Grindhouse Video. I got my copy almost a week and a half early that I pre-ordered. Barnes & Noble has it. If you just search Movie Hoarders from VHS to DVD and Beyond, you can find it. I'll put links down below. There have been so many kind words said about it already. I'm excited to watch this coming weekend, this weekend that I'm in at some point in the weekend. I've heard from people. Tim Talks Talkies on Instagram wrote a review about the movie and said, you know, for the movie collectors, the fans of film, and just being movie collectors, that this is a must-watch. Bill Greenan, aka Geriatric Geek, did a video that just got uploaded yesterday when I recorded this, so June 25th, where he talks about watching the movie and how much he enjoyed it. He sent me a nice little message about me being in the film, so I just want to thank you guys. I'm so excited just to be a part of this. When I filmed my part in this film during quarantine, like a year and a half ago, I filmed it and I kind of forgot, like, oh, this might be a movie. Like, I might actually be in a movie. And here it is, guys. Apparently I am in this movie a few times. So I'm very excited to check this out. A lot of my good buddies are in this. Martinez Joe 74, Marie, Dave, Cinema Sickness, some people I'm not friends with, but I've watched their channels for a long time. Cinestalker, and who else is in this? Cool Duder. You know, all people that I watch and part of the community that I'm a part of. So do yourselves a favor, guys. If you want to support this movie, I will put links down below where you can get yourselves a copy. I will probably do a dedicated video to this once I watch it. And I will also be doing the Megapodtastic podcast this week when this video drops. So this upcoming Friday. So do yourselves a favor. Download it. Give it a listen. And we're supposed to be talking about this amongst other things. So I just want to mention it. I'm very, very excited. Like, here it is physically in my hands. Pretty surreal and kind of emotional. Like, I'm just a guy who likes to collect movies, and I put my phone in front of my face and talk about what I've watched and picked up, and my camera's a little crooked right now. Let's see. There we go. So go support this movie. You know, like I said, Tony Newton was the one who put this together, and also Cool Duder was another producer on the film. So go support this film, Movie Hoarders from VHS to DVD and Beyond. And let's get into the reviews. And this is a bit different because normally this would be the final week in May reviews. We would talk about everything that I watched the last week of May. But for some reason, the last 9 days of May, I watched 13 movies. So we're splitting up into two videos. So I will talk about 7 movies in this video, 6 in the next video, next week review video. And I'm hopefully going to knock out a bunch of videos this weekend and get stuff recorded. So it's enough of me mumbling and talking. Also, I'm going to try to learn from a buddy of mine, Joe, how to like maybe add a poster in when I'm talking about a movie that I don't physically have. So maybe that's going to happen in this video. If not, I will try to work on doing that. I know that's been a critique that I should kind of like add something so when I'm not holding up a physical copy of a movie like this to talk about it, maybe if the poster pops up, it would help you guys kind of connect the movie to what I'm talking about. So it's possible that's going to happen with this first movie or not. So in the future, though, I'm working on it, I promise. Is The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which is a Netflix film. It was on my radar. It was called Connected, I believe, initially. It was going to come out in theaters. Then COVID happened. It didn't come out in theaters. Netflix acquired it from Sony, if I'm not mistaken. And so I was hearing a lot of good things about this movie, and I absolutely love this flick. I thought it was hilarious. So good. My girlfriend and I were both cracking up throughout the movie. Apparently RJ really likes the movie because when he sat and watched it with us, it was the fourth time he had watched it. He had watched it multiple times at his mother's house. So I want to say this is probably the best new animated film since Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So in my opinion, it was above Soul and Onward. Other things that had come out recently, but I really enjoyed this movie. I can definitely see rewatching it multiple times. I also hope that it gets a physical release, although it's a Netflix movie, so I'm not sure it will. The movie's relatable, in my opinion. It talks about a lot of relevant topics like phone use and internet with young people. It also is a love letter to becoming or wanting to become a young filmmaker, which the main girl in the film does. There's a lot of heart and family stuff as well. And like I said, the amount of humor in the movie is just off the charts for me. Like I said, Bridget and I were cracking up throughout, especially the first 45 minutes, just laughing pretty constantly. And in a kids movie, that is crazy refreshing, and just in any movie in general anymore, it's refreshing. So I give The Mitchells vs. the Machines a 4 out of 5. Almost gave it a 4.5, just maybe on a rewatch, honestly. But I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend The Mitchells vs. the Machines. The next movie we watched, I wanted to show this to RJ. I had pre-ordered this from Deep Discount and wanted to watch it pretty quickly after getting it. And that is Big Fish on 4K. This is a Tim Burton film, one of the handful of his movies that I actually really enjoy. As soon as I found out it was coming to 4K, I pre-ordered it. Excuse me. It stars Ewan McGregor, Albert Finney, Billy Crudup, and Jessica Lange. It's basically a tall tale story come to life about a dad who's sick and his son who's heard these stories his entire life. And he kind of is trying to make amends with his dad towards the end of his lifetime. And it's just a really well done father-son story. It's pretty emotional. There's a lot of cool, fantastical elements. Danny DeVito's also in the movie. Marion Cotillard, Alison Lohman, Helena Bonham Carter, Steve Buscemi. So a pretty packed cast. And like I said, for a Tim Burton movie, I actually really enjoy it. I don't think RJ loved it, but I also don't think he can fully appreciate it. I probably showed it to him. He was probably still a bit young, but he enjoyed parts of it. But alongside Beetlejuice and Batman, this is probably in my top 3 Tim Burton films. And the 4K looks absolutely beautiful, which was just a nice bonus. So I gave Big Fish a 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend this film. If you have not seen it, I recommend checking out Big Fish for sure. Next up is a movie that it's a dude flick kind of, but it's about a woman. So it's a woman dude flick or a dude woman flick. Anyway, the movie is Ava, which stars Jessica Chastain. She's basically an assassin, and she works for John Malkovich. And I got serious like vibes, almost like the movie Anna, which I enjoyed, but didn't think it was anything like must own or rewatchable. Didn't have very high expectations. Was just looking for something with like a shorter runtime to kind of unplug the brain, and that's what this was. Nice 90-minute runtime, which kept the fluff out of the movie. It was pretty much action and story and progressed. The camera work felt really weird and messy, in my opinion, for the action. It's very like jolty and tilty camera, almost like a late 90s action film, early 2000s action film. But to see Jessica Chastain as a trained assassin was pretty cool. Colin Farrell plays a villain. Like I said, John Malkovich kind of plays a mentor. And there were a handful of scenes that I enjoyed in the movie, but this is just kind of middle of the line for me. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. The next thing we watched, I do have on physical here, and it's one that, so RJ's been, we finished watching The Office finally. He loves The Office. He loves Parks and Recreation. So we're trying to find movies with Ed Helms that he could watch. And if it's not an animated film that Ed Helms was the voice of, pretty much anything Ed Helms has done is rated R. The Hangover movies, Cedar Rapids, Vacation. Like, he's done pretty much R-rated films. And I was like, you know what? I have an idea for a movie to watch. And that is The Rocker, starring Rainn Wilson, Dwight himself. And I told RJ the premise, and he was intrigued. Plus, it has Josh Gad, Emma Stone, which is always a nice added bonus. Bradley Cooper. Who else is in this? Fred Armisen, Christina Applegate, Jeff Garlin. So a pretty loaded cast nowadays. And this was a movie that I had seen before a few times. And it's just fun. It's a PG-13 movie. It's very kind of like School of Rock-esque in a way. School of Rock is obviously, in my opinion, a far superior movie. Far more superior. But it's fun. It's a good like background movie to have on TV, and there's a few scenes like I pay attention to and I'll watch. But you know, there's lots of familiar faces, and it's funny. The music is good. It's a watchable movie. Nothing amazing. It'll stay on the shelf. But I give this a 3 out of 5. The Rocker is a fun film if you haven't seen it. Like I said, really good cast. Usually you can find this one cheap. I think I probably got this for like $1 at a pawn shop, honestly. So, The Rocker. And I think that's it for physical titles that I'm going to be able to hold up and talk about. The next movie, I had been telling my girlfriend I would sit and watch it with her, and finally I did. And that is the original Dr. Doolittle, which stars Rex Harrison. This was the first Rex Harrison movie I have seen in my entire life. I know Bridget's a bit of a fan of his, so I wanted to check out the movie, see what it was all about. And she grew up watching this movie as a youngster, and I can get where you would really enjoy this movie as a young kid. I will say the movie featured songs that I had heard before, I was familiar with, and kept my attention for the most part. However, the movie is a bit long, and it's weird because this is made as basically a kids movie, a family movie, and I want to say the runtime of this is 2 hours and 35 minutes, and for a family film, that just seems too long. Like, I recently, spoiler alert for a month from now, watched In the Heights, which was about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Not really a family movie, but a movie that you can watch with everybody. There's a little bit of language, but it's funny because RJ really enjoyed it. He even said, like, we paused it 45 minutes in because somebody had to use the restroom. And he's like, I'm really enjoying this so far. And then about an hour and 40 minutes in, he just started losing interest. So I could see a similar thing happening for a younger kid watching Dr. Doolittle. Like, this is way too long. Like, there's animals and songs, but why is this so long? And I got a bit of that, but I didn't lose interest. It kept me focused and watching. And the movie is a bit bizarre in some parts, a bit weird. Definitely didn't age well in some parts as well. But the movie's watchable. I know this movie gets a lot of flack. It has like a really low Rotten Tomatoes score. People have said it's one of the worst like Academy Award nominated films of all time. And that I just can't get on board with. I give it a 3 out of 5. It's a watchable movie. I'm going to try to find... I got to try to find Bridget a copy. But it's at Twilight Time, so it's a bit pricey. I have to find her a Blu-ray because streaming. Ugh, we paid to rent it. Shh, don't tell her. I hope she's gonna watch this, but you're stupid. But I also apologize. My neighbors are moving out, it sounds like, so hopefully they keep down the noise to an extent. The next thing we're going to talk about is Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, not Justice League. I still haven't made the time commitment to watch that. So, I went into this movie with a few thoughts. So Zack Snyder is a director for me that is not a sales point. I loved Dawn of the Dead. I think it's fantastic. I enjoyed 300 quite a bit. After that, his filmography doesn't really quite do it for me. Watched Watchmen for the first time last year. I thought it was incredibly boring, personally. Sucker Punch, once again, it didn't do it for me. It seems to be an editing issue with a lot of Zack Snyder's movies. Batman vs. Superman was okay. I've only watched it one time. I saw it in theaters. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was middle of the line. Have not watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. So when I went into this, it's a zombie film, and I loved Dawn of the Dead, so I was excited about that. But based on his later movies, where he seemed to forget editing in his film, I was a bit worried when I saw it was 2.5 hours long. And the final result of that for me is, it is a blast. It is such a fun movie. A shame that this probably won't get a physical release. I know there's supposed to be prequels and sequels and animated things. I'm definitely curious to see what they do with this. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such a fun movie. It's just a popcorn movie. It is a popcorn movie that is thoroughly enjoyable. I've read some fan synopsis or fiction, or what do I want to say? Basically some theories. That's where I want to go. Some fan theories about the movie, that if it's true, it's even more cool, in my opinion, what he did. I don't know if that was intended or just to throw the viewer off, but yeah, it's fun. Like I said, is it a perfect movie? No. But is it fun and enjoyable? Absolutely, yeah. Definitely think a rewatch of this is possible in the future. Like I said, I hope it gets a physical release, but it's Netflix, so I doubt it will. There's also this weird thing that Zack Snyder chose to do when filming this movie with shallow focus. So basically, if I was on camera and I was getting ready to kill a zombie like a crazy guy I am, everything behind me would be blurry. Like, everything would be a blur. It would almost look like, let's see, it would look like, no, I can't do it. It would be like if I was sharp and focused, everything else was blurry, even characters in the background talking. It was a bit weird. It took me out of the movie at the beginning, and I realized this is a choice he went with. Let's just go with it. What else do I have here? The other crazy thing about this movie is how they digitally added Tig Notaro into the film. So if you guys didn't know, Chris D'Elia was originally in this movie. He's a stand-up comic. He got in a lot of controversy, and Zack Snyder removed him from the film, and they decided to add Tig Notaro, who's another stand-up comic, digitally in this movie. She shot all her scenes on green screen and only interacted with one other actor in the film. She said she was doing the talk show circuit. She still has not met Dave Bautista as of, like a month ago. Even though they're in scenes together, they interact together, they never have met each other, and it looks pretty flawless in my opinion. You almost forget that she was shot on a green screen and put into the movie digitally. And I know they said that cost a few $1 million just to do that part of the movie, but I think they did it pretty flawlessly. And I gave Army of the Dead a 3.5 out of 5. A fun movie, definitely one I enjoyed, definitely one I will check out again in the future. Looking at some of these fan theories, guys, it is pretty crazy. All I'll say, 2 words, earmuffs. If you haven't seen it, if you don't want to be spoiled, fan theory, time loop. That's all I'm going to say. So, the last movie we're going to talk about is a documentary that premiered on Amazon Prime, and it's about this singer Pink, who's from Philadelphia, and it's called Pink, All I Know So Far. I actually just bought the soundtrack to this. It's basically a live album that she released recently. So Pink is an artist that I've always kind of like knew about, at least over the last 20 years that she's been around. She's had catchy songs. She's known for putting on fantastic concerts and these crazy acrobatic shows while she performs, which is mind-blowing to me. And this is a movie about the European leg of her 2019 tour, culminating with 2 sold-out shows at Wembley Stadium, which is like 70 or 80,000 people. So she's a mom to 2. She's married to, I believe he's a motocross Hall of Famer star, Carey Hart. And it basically talks about, or shows Pink as a mom, and how she, even on tour, is still trying to be a mom to her kids and not just like have nannies take over for her. And yeah, when she's on stage, she does it. But her daughter started singing, and it's just a really well done movie. The music is good. To see the interactions between her and Carrie Hart and her 2 kids, and this crazy show she has to put on, and preparing the show is just really, really fun. You guys know I'm a sucker for films about music and documentaries, so I really, really enjoyed this. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It is highly entertaining. If you're a fan of Pink, if you're curious about this one, if you love music documentaries, I recommend checking this out. I thought it was an absolute blast. So Pink, all I know so far on Amazon Prime, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 to. And that is it, guys. That is it for part 4 of the May reviews for the channel. Like I said, next week will be part 5, and it's pretty exciting because I'll talk about my return to the cinema after 14 months of not being there. I actually went twice in the last week of May, so we'll talk about that next week, and some physical titles as well, including a few comfort movies because RJ was pretty sick for a little while, and we'll talk about it next week. So thank you guys for watching as always. In the description box down below, links to my usual Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, where I rate and review all the movies I watch, my eBay page, Amazon wishlist, Blu-ray.com profile, links to pre-order this right here, Movie Hoarders, from VHS to DVD and beyond. Do yourselves a favor, check it out. And that is it, guys. So thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave comments down below. Until next time, who's down to a movie?